Welcome to another Figuring Out Japan video. We sell all the coolest Japanese collectibles and figurines straight out of Japan, and you can find out more details about us in the description of this video, including our Facebook page and our eBay store, including a link to where you can get these figures. So I'm actually really excited to be doing this review because it's actually the first video review of a series called Haikyuu, and this is basically a series about volleyball where the I guess main character of the story, Shoyo, Hinata or Hinata Shoyo, sees a volleyball game on national TV and becomes inspired by it, starts practicing volleyball by himself, and eventually some members slowly, join, and eventually they kind of turn it into like a proper club. So in Japan they have sports. I mean, probably most countries they have like sports clubs at their school. So they sort of form a volleyball club and enter a tournament, and they are beaten pretty badly in the first tournament, in the first game, and they sort of vow to kind of avenge that loss and become much better volleyball players. So it's kind of, I mean, there's been a lot of, a lot of different sports series in Japan. This is I think pretty much the first one for volleyball. Actually, volleyball is pretty popular in Japan. In fact, the women's team are actually one of the best teams in the world for volleyball, believe it or not. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. I really like Kuroko no Basket because I'm a basketball fan myself. So it's kind of the volleyball version of that, if that makes sense. Now, I'm really excited as well, particularly because Banpresto actually released a Master Stars piece of Shoyo Hinata, which is this one. And Banpresto usually only release Master Stars piece figures of pretty popular series and things like that. So I'm sure a lot of you would have seen the MSPs for Dragon Ball and One Piece and that sort of thing. And basically, so once they released this, we thought, okay, well maybe it's actually worth, because I thought it's not that popular in Japan, and I guess we really thought, well, there's probably not going to be that much demand for it overseas. And boy, were we wrong, because we started listing this one and we didn't sell a lot of them, but we certainly sold a few. And then we started stocking some of the other Haikyuu stuff that's been released, and the I'll keep showing that actually while I'm talking. And the demand for those has just been phenomenal. Like, it's massively exceeded our expectations for that particular series. So, in addition to the MSPs, and there's going to be a Kageyama Tobio MSP released very soon, there have also been the DXF or deluxe figures that have been released, and these are kind of the ones that we're going to be looking at today. So originally they were released, there's been 7 volumes released to date. Each volume has 2 figures, and there's also going to be volumes 8 to 11 released in the near future, and we have those available for pre-order. I mean, there hasn't been massive supply produced of these figures, so they do tend to sort of go off collectors' markets pretty quickly, and already the first couple of volumes of that series has become very, very rare. And so what Banpresto have actually started doing is kind of re-releasing these figures, and this particular line is actually the assortment. It actually says here, Haikyuu DXF, DXF is deluxe figure, special Assorto. Assorto is like assort, or assortment, volume 1, and there's actually 4 figures in this series, which we're going to look at eventually, the figures. But we have Hinata Shoyo, we have of course Kageyama Tobio, Tsukishima Kei, and Yamaguchi Tadashi. So they're the four characters in this particular one, and there has also been an Assort 2 that's been announced, which has 3 figures, and also Assortment 3, which has 4 figures that will come out next year. You can see this is the original kind of releases I was saying. This is Haikyuu Volume 8. And pretty much, yeah, anything after before sort of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, those volumes are really rare. This was a special manager release that came out in November, and there's the Master Size piece of Tobio Kageyama that will come out in the end of January. So I'll quickly show you the boxes for these figures. So you'll actually notice that the artwork is actually similar to the original manga cover release. That's pretty cool. They did that. It's very dark, isn't it? So that's the front, that's the side, and everything else is the same for all the boxes for this line. So I'll just show you it on this box. And that's some of the future releases. That's the top, nothing interesting. So that's the animation company, and then all the Japanese jargon, and you can see here it says for use as prize in Japan only. So it is a Japanese exclusive, like all the stuff that we sell. So this is Yamaguchi Tadashi. So I'll just show you the front and the side because everything else is the same as I just mentioned. I will get to the figures, I promise. Kageyama Tobio and Hinata. So there you go. See the boxes. So finally, let's get into the figures. So they are about, it depends on which figure, but they're about 160 to, sorry I'm moving the camera, 160 to 180 millimeters tall. So just to put that in perspective, so that's about what, 5 to 6 inches. So that's an iPhone 5 case, so it's about 1.5 iPhone 5 cases, if you like. And they all come on this black base, which is kind of cool because you can kind of, they're all hexagonal, so you can kind of make them stick together if you collect. There's been a lot of these releases, so as you get more, you can sort of all match them and fit them in really nicely. And each of these figures come in 3 pieces. You have the base, the figure itself, or the body, and the head is actually a separate piece. And they go in quite easily. You can see, actually you can't see that, can you? So there's 2 holes, and there's the pins. So that goes in pretty easily. And yeah, the paint job is pretty good. I mean, you can see all the details in the feet, the socks, and the printing. Nice, it's quite shiny as you can see, and the little printing there on the what would you call it, t-shirt, the uniform, I don't know, collar, and some printing on the back with the number. And you also get a volleyball, and even the fingers you can see are pretty detailed. Like, looks pretty realistic, doesn't it? The knuckles and everything else. So that's Tobio. Let's have a look now at Shoyo Hinata. So you can see the shoes. Really quite similar to the Kuroko no Basket figures, actually. So he also has a ball in his hands, and you've also got all the number printing and that sort of stuff on it. That's a pretty cool figure. And then we have the Korean style glasses, because there's no glass in them. I've seen Banpresto actually release glasses with glass in them. Well, it may not be glass, actually maybe like a plasticky glass, but they didn't do that with this. Bit of a shame, but it's not a big deal. There's the shoes. So that's all pretty similar to the other ones. And then Yamaguchi Tadashi, you can see the knee pads, even sort of pretty detailed. Different coloured volleyball. So yeah, so nice figures, you know, really good detail, and I think they really make a great display all together as well. So, and as I said, the way that the bases are, you can actually display these quite well all together. So that is the Assortment 1 Haikyuu figures. As I said, we have a heap of stuff available on pre-order. Demand's been very popular for that. It's a first in best dressed scenario. The links for all that are in the description of this video. So I hope you enjoyed that, all those Haikyuu fans out there, and it's great to see the series have so much support. Great to see people around the world enjoying Japanese manga and animation. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.